Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Solon, Export Sales Manager with Hayward for Latin America and the Caribbean. Thanks for joining this webinar, this presentation. Today, we are going to be doing an overview of some of the featured products that we have and products that we should be promoting into our markets. If you have any questions, please write it under the questions section or just write it on the chat. This is going to be an informal presentation, so just make sure that you ask as many questions as you need in order to get the information that you want. So today's overview is going to be looking at all of the products that we want to promote and that we should be doing more in our markets. And to start, we're just going to do a little bit of overview as to what Hayward is, what we do, and where we are present. So Hayward was founded in 1925 by Irving Hayward, which is where the name comes from, and it was purchased by the Davis family in 1964, and in 2017 it was sold into private equity firms. We have about 10 manufacturing and distribution centers around the world, over 2,500 employees, and we have for mainly English-speaking Caribbean, we have myself, and we also have Manny, which is the technical manager for the area. Later down the road on the presentation, we are going to share both contacts information in case you don't have it. So during this webinar series, since everyone is staying home or trying to stay away from work one way or another, during this webinar series, today we're going to do an overview, but then next week and the week after, we are going to be going in depth into variable speed pumps, filtration, and heating as well. This is going to be next week. And the webinars are going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Then the week after, we are going to be doing heat pumps, lighting and water features, sanitization, which is going to go in depth into UV, ozone, and salt chlorine generator. And then on week 3, we're going to be doing automation with both the OmniHub and OmniLogic. And today we're going to be seeing an overview on both of those products. And then finishing up the third week, we're going to be doing automatic cleaners, both suction and robotic. So make sure that you keep attentive to your email because each of these webinars is going to be a separate invitation. To start up, I also want to mention that most of our products are now considered expert line. What does that mean? Well, expert line are products that are not sold online, so they are only sold through distribution and retail stores. So that is going to help you to not be competing versus Amazon's and eBay's and 1,000 other websites that obviously has the product at very low margins. With all of these products being expert line, again, over 900 SKUs are expert line, that competition, that disloyal competition is not going to be there anymore. Going into the products, we are going to start with variable speed pumps. Variable speed, we have a few different options of variable speed, and we're going to look at them today. But starting off, we have the MaxFlow BS500. This variable speed pump has a TFC magnetic drive motor. TFC stands for totally enclosed fan cooled. So what that means is all of you that are doing installation, especially close to the sea, close to the coast, or in high humidity areas, these motors being totally enclosed, it means all of that humidity is not going to get into the windings or to the bearings to where it can create issues. This pump, the motor on this pump is both 50-60 and it is available in dual voltage as well. Obviously, the benefit of variable speed is energy savings, and it is up to 80% efficient compared to single speed pumps. This pumps comes with unions, 1.5 by 2, and the time clock or the controller, which we can see down here, it is going to replace your time clock completely. We do not need a time clock anymore once we have this pump, because all of the programming and all of the start and stop is going to be programmed directly to the pump. We can do 8 different programmings for individual days, or we can do special programming for for the weekends or any special programming during the week. All of our pumps, the display can be rotated on top of the drive, or it can also be taken off and mounted on the wall. So it is easier for the homeowner or the service tech to access. And this pump again is 1.65 total horsepower, which makes it ideal for inch and a half installations. Then we look into the super pump. The super pump is a model that a lot of people know, but now it is also available in variable speed. What that means is it is the same wet end that you already know and the same parts that you might already have for the super pump. Well, they are going to be compatible with this model, and the only difference is basically that you have a smart motor and a variable frequency drive on the back end. It is the same size as the previous pump that we saw, 1.65 total horsepower. So it is just a matter of what you prefer, the max flow wet end or the super pump wet end. And again, all of our variable speed pumps use exactly the same controller that we see here with the blue decal on it. And this one is also ideal when you have inch and a half plumbing. Next pump that we're going to see is the TriStar BS900. This pump is based on the TriStar wet end, but at the same time, it has a bigger size motor. It is 1.85 total horsepower. It is also 50/60, and it provides energy efficiency of up to 80% compared to single speed. But now this one, it comes with unions. It is bigger connections, 2 by 2.5. But this pump is ideal for 2-inch plumbing at least. We do not recommend putting a higher horsepower into a smaller plumbing because obviously that is going to cause cavitation issues. But with this one, the TriStar BS900, 2-inch plumbing, it is going to be a perfect match. Same features that we already discussed with the controller and the same programming on all of them. And then lastly, when it comes to variable speed pumps, we're looking at the TriStar BS950. Now, the 950 has a bigger motor, 2.7 total horsepower. It is also 50/60, 50/60 cycle. Energy efficiency of up to 90%. Why? Because with that 2.7 horsepower motor, we can deliver about 150 GPM at 50 feet ahead. When you compare that versus the competition, you're going to see that they need much bigger horsepower in order to deliver that same amount of flow. And this pump, you need minimum 2.5 to 3-inch plumbing in order to take full advantage of the flow that it provides. And again, same controller on all of them. And this one, same as with all of the other pumps that I just showed you, all of them have a Viton shaft seal, which makes it much more durable versus chemical resistant. And here we can see the flow curves for each of the pumps. The max flow and the super pump, remember, both of them use 1.65 total horsepower. So both of them have about the same curve that we can see here in blue. And we say that that max flow and super pump is ideal for inch and a half plumbing because remember, for inch and a half plumbing, the maximum flow recommended is 51 GPM. So we obviously don't want to put a much bigger size pump when the maximum plumbing, the maximum flow that the plumbing allows is only about 51 GPM. And we can see that this pump at 40 feet ahead is going to give us about 60. So it is going to exceed it a little bit, but it won't be that much to where it's going to cause serious cavitation issues. Then for the TriStar 900, remember that one is the one that we recommend for 2-inch plumbing. That 2-inch plumbing maximum flow is about 84 GPM at 8 feet per second. That 84 GPM, we can see here that at 50 feet ahead, normally it's a bigger size pump, so you're going to have a different type of installation on it. But a 50 feet ahead is a pump that gives us about 100 GPM. And then lastly, the 950, which is the biggest one. Remember that one is 2.7 total horsepower. At the same 50 feet ahead, it gives us about 150 GPM. And remember that for that one, we recommend at least 2.5-inch plumbing, but ideal, you would actually do 3-inch plumbing on that in order to take full advantage. Because remember, the pump has to be sized to where a maximum flow you're going to take is going to be able, the plumbing is going to be able to handle the maximum flow that the pump is able to deliver. In this case, at full RPMs, the pump gives you about 150 GPM. Remember, we are going to be going more in depth into all of these products later when we do the full seminar into that specific product category. So next, we're going to jump into filters. Remember, if you have any questions during the presentation, just write it down, please, and at the end, we can review all of the questions. Uh, Next, we're jumping into single element cartridge filters. Cartridge filter is my favorite when it comes to uh, filtration media. Why? Because you are not losing water because you're not doing backwash. If you're not losing water, you're not losing chemicals. And if you are heating your pool, then you are not losing the heating that you put into the water either if you're not doing backwash. And at the same time, it is more efficient than a sand filter, especially when it comes to the degree of filtration that it provides. Normally, cartridge gives you about a 10 micron on the filtration, to where sand gives you about 30 to 40 microns. We have three different sizes on these cartridge filters: 100, 150, and 200 square foot. And the flow recommended on them is anywhere between 100 to 120 GPM. As we can see on this next slide, the pressure gauge and the air release is actually embedded into the lid. So there's no issues about knocking it off or getting it damaged when doing service. The other good thing that this filter has, it has these very good large size grips. So it is easy, the handle is a lot easier to take it off in order to clean up the cartridge. And the inlet is actually elevated because what you're going to do is your pump is going to be just 190 going into the filter instead of having to do multiple 90s to go at the bottom. Next, we're going to look into DE. This DE filter, I know most of the markets do not use DE, but DE is actually the most efficient filtration media that we have for swimming pools. It filters about 3 to 5 microns, and with this combination that we have now, this DEP 500, instead of using the regular DE with a half moon style grids, it actually uses a similar grid to what you will do on a cartridge filter. So it is a lot easier to service. We have it available in 60, 80, and 100 square feet. Flow rates on this is anywhere between 120 to 150 max. So obviously you can do more, less than that, but you cannot go over. And then the other good thing that this filter has is that it actually has a full flow valve. And we can see that valve down here. And what this valve does is actually, instead of using the standard multiport to where you have multiple openings and closings inside the valve itself, this one, once the filter is set into filtration, the water goes directly through the valve into the filter without creating any restriction. And that's why it provides a much more efficient hydraulic efficiency compared to standard multiport valves. And remember that obviously the filtration is actually better as well compared to sand especially. Next, we're going to look into our sand filters. This is just a reminder that we have options anywhere between 14 to 36 inches, and we have options with side valve or top mount valves. And we even have a 36-inch sand filter with a top mount valve, which many in the competition actually don't do that type of filter. But we do have it because it is a good option many times when you are inside an equipment room and you don't have a lot of lateral space, so you can go up, and that filter 36-inch on a commercial with a top mount is actually a pretty good option. In order to improve filtration when it comes to sand filters, we also have this new filter media. It is called Pro Hayward Blue. What that Pro Hayward Blue does is actually a replacement to the sand, and instead of using sand, you can use this material. It is recommended for filters 22 inches and up that use 200 pounds of sand or more. And what this does is actually 1 pound of this material, it is going to replace 100 pounds of sand. So it is obviously it's a lot easier to do the service because you are not lugging around, 400, or in some cases even 900 pounds of sand. With this, it can be anywhere between a couple of pounds up to 9 pounds in order to replace a filter that will use 900 pounds of sand. The other advantage that we have with this filter media is that it's actually better filtration than typical sand. Remember what we said, typical sand is about 30 to 40 microns. This filter media gives you anywhere between 5 to 10 microns on the filtration. So now your filtration is similar to what a cartridge filter provides when it comes to quality of water, but you keep your sand filter, which the customer already paid for in most cases because they already have it. Instead of at the time of doing a sand change, instead of going back with sand, you can offer this filtration media. There is no change required to the filter. It is the same on the inside. There's no modifications that need to be done in order to use this material. Just remember, 1 pound, I'm sorry, replaces 100 pounds of sand. Another product that we want to highlight is our gas heaters. We have gas heaters anywhere between 135 to 500,000 BTUs. Obviously, the 500,000 BTU model is going to heat faster than one that is 400,000, which most of the other manufacturers they only go up to 400,000. And the other advantage that we have with our gas heater is that they actually use copper nickel on all of the heat exchangers. Copper nickel is going to last more, it's going to last longer than standard copper, and at the same time, it has better chemical resistance than standard copper. The models, the Universal H series is actually dual voltage, 120 to 40, except the 135, which is only available in 120 volts. The other thing to remember about this as well is that we have this connector. This connectors makes it easier when you're replacing a Pentair or a Yandy heater without having to modify the plumbing. Now you're able to go in, upgrade them to our heater with copper nickel using the same plumbing setup that the customer had from previous installation. So makes it a lot easier, better hydraulic efficiency than the competition heaters. Next thing that we're going to look at is our Heat Pro heat pumps. Our Heat Pro line goes anywhere between 45 to 140,000 BTUs. The main competitive advantage that we have for the Heat Pros is the Ultra Gold evaporator. The Ultra Gold evaporator is all of this section that goes all around the heater that actually collects all of the warm air. All of that evaporator is actually on our heaters, it is more durable than if you are just using standard aluminum, which other manufacturers use aluminum painted in black. With our Ultra Gold, if you're doing an installation close to the sea, close to the coast, or an installation in a place with high humidity, that Ultra Gold is not going to get corroded as many of the other materials get damaged. With our heater, it makes it much more durable thanks to the Ultra Gold, and at the same time, remember that all of our heat pumps use a titanium heat exchanger, and all of them on the compressor we have an acoustic cover as well in order to make them quieter. We have single phase and three phase options available as well. Another model of a heat pump that we have is the Summit XL. The Summit XL has all of the same benefits that we previously discussed with the Heat Pro, but this one only comes in two sizes, 112 and 140,000 BTUs. The only reason why to offer this unit is basically a different brand in order to help customers differentiate a little bit. But other than that, it has the same benefits and the same qualities that we discussed previously. Now that we are done with heating, we are going to get into automatic pool cleaners. Today we're just going to look at a couple of them, couple of options, one in the suction side and the other one in the robotic. But I want to make you aware that we do have a wide range of automatic pool cleaners, and I think this is an area in our market where we can grow much more because automatic pool cleaners have been uh, not as widely available as we would want in the market. We're going to start with our suction cleaner, which is the Aquanaut 250. This Aquanaut 250 is ideal for residential pools. It does require electricity or it doesn't require any specialized plumbing. You can just connect it to the suction port in your pool, or if your pool doesn't have a suction port, you can just connect it to your skimmer. It comes with all of the hoses that you need. And the good thing with this unit is that it actually has a B-Flex. What is B-Flex? B-Flex is this hinge mechanism that we can see down here. And what those hinges provide is that the unit is able to adapt according to the flow, and it is also able to adapt according to whatever size debris it is picking up. So if you have any pebbles on the bottom of your pool that are obviously bigger, and the cleaner sucks it up, it is not going to get stuck. This hinge mechanism is able to open up so the debris can go through without actually clogging up your automatic pool cleaner. And it is also a great option when we are doing variable speed pumps. But because when we're doing a low flow on the variable speed, this hinge mechanism then closes up and the unit keeps moving even at low flows. Next option that we're going to look at in automatic pool cleaner is a robotic. We call this model the Aquabac 6, and this has two different motors on it, the 600 or the 650. The main difference with the 650 is that it has a built-in Wi-Fi antenna, so you can download an app on your phone, and now you are able to drive the cleaner through your phone. If you have any spots in the pool to where normally debris tends to collect, now with the app you can just drive the cleaner specifically to that spot in order for it to pick up all of the debris and leave your pools spotless. The other good things that we have with this cleaner is that it actually has a spin tech, which is a cyclonic effect on the basket. So all of the debris separates from the water and it doesn't clog up your suction on your cleaner. The other thing that it has is the hexa drive. The hexa drive, what it does is basically instead of being a 4x4, it's actually a 6x6. You have six wheels that are constantly spinning and six wheels that have traction, so your cleaner is not going to get stuck anywhere. It is able to clean not only the floor, but the walls and also the water line on the tile. And the other good feature that it has is touch-free cleaning. All you do to clean up the basket, you just press this button, it's going to open up the compartment and all of the debris is going to fall out without the customer or the service guy actually having to go in and wash it out by hand. This unit comes with universal power supply, dual voltage, and it is also 5060 on the same cleaner, same model. Now that we are done with automatic cleaners, let's go into a little bit into sanitization. Today I want to highlight a few products for you on our salt chlorinator line and also UV and ozone that we're going to be looking at in a few minutes. Starting with sanitization is this AquaRite 100. This is a salt chlorine generator for pools up to 30,000 gallons. As we can see here on this picture, it has the cell is actually a clear vessel which makes it a lot easier for the tech to go in and see, okay, when do they have to uh, do any type of cleaning on the cell, when they do have to take it out for service, and if not, they don't even have to open to inspect it. This cell also has both the temp sensor, which here is on the side, and the flow switch, which is on the other side here, is already built in into the cell itself. So there's nothing else for you to install other than this vessel, which goes installed into the plumbing, and then the power center, which obviously goes on the wall. This Aquarite 100 has a wide range of salinity, anywhere between 1500 to 4500 ppm. So it makes it ideal for a customer that wants to work with a low salinity range as well. Dual voltage, dual cycle. And the other good thing is that if you're combining this with a variable speed pump, it's actually a perfect match because this unit requires a low flow to work, only about 20 GPM in order for the flow switch to activate. So if you're doing it with a variable speed pump, you don't have to worry about having the pump in high speed in order to produce chlorine. Next, we're going to look into our blue essence. This blue essence is modeled or is made after the Aquarite. So if you have already worked with an Aquarite in the past, this blue essence is basically the same chassis, the same unit. We just created this unit in order to provide a more competitively priced unit for the international markets. It comes in two sizes, 20 and 35,000 gallons. And it is also dual voltage, automatic cell cleaning, and it has all of the great features that you might already know from the Aquarite line. Lastly, on salt chlorinators, I want to show you the Aquarite 900. This Aquarite 900 unit, the main difference that it has is that the cell is actually extended life. What that means is that the cell during its lifetime is going to provide 25% more chlorine than a standard Aquarite cell. So the customer is going to have a peace of mind knowing that the cell is going to last about 25% longer than the standard cells. And the only reason why they last longer is because on the titanium plates that the cells have inside, there's actually more ruthenium, which is the chemicals that is used to protect the cell plates from regular use and wear. With this unit, you know that the customer is going to be happier with the life expectancy of the product. And by the way, these cells and the Blue Essence cells and the Aquarite cells, they are all interchangeable. So if you have a customer that already has an Aquarite and they want to put an Aquarite 900 extended life cell on it, you can actually do it. And that wouldn't cause any issues with the unit. You just have to program them the correct way. Next, we're going to look into UV. UV is something fairly new when it comes to sanitization in pools. It has been used here and there, but in our international market hasn't been that popular. But I think with this Ultra UV, we can really start pushing this into the residential and the commercial side as well. The good thing with UV is that it kills 99.9% of microorganisms in the water. So any kind of bacterial or even algae in the pool, this is able to get rid of it, and it also reduces your chlorine demand by about 50%, which is pretty good. But what we have to remember when it comes to UV is that it is a secondary sanitizer. It cannot be used as primary. Using UV doesn't mean that you're going to eliminate totally your chlorine consumption, but you compare up, for example, this UV with a salt chlorinator from the ones that we saw previously, or you can actually use it just with regular cal hypo trichlor or any type of chemical chlorine that you use in your pools. We have three different motors with this, anywhere between 40 to 120 gallons per minute in order to maintain that 99.9% kill rate. And it is also dual voltage, either 115 or 230 volts. The other good thing with this is that there's actually 4 ports on the bottom. In order to do your connections, you have one here on the side, you have another one here on the front, and then you have another one on the side, and you have another one on the back side. So it makes it really easy to plumb it in, and that way your plumbing is actually going to be more efficient because you can come in on one side, for example, and come out on the other, or come in on one side and come out on the same side. So you can play around with it at the time that you're installing it in order to reduce the amount of 90s and so on that you're going to use. And then whatever port you don't use, you just plug it up with regular PVC plugs. Next, we're going to look into ozone. Ozone is very similar to UV in the fact that it is a secondary uh, sanitizer. It cannot be used as primary, but it does reduce your chlorine consumption up to 60%. And other than that, it also helps break down your chloramines, which is obviously the combined chlorine. And don't miss the presentation that we're going to be doing on sanitizers, where we're going to be going more in depth into both salt generator and also UV and ozone. Next, we're going to jump into automation. The OmniHub is our residential automation system. It is ideal for existing pools because there is no electrical panel to where you have to be putting it into the wall. It is a smaller unit that replaces your time clock, but at the same time, it provides all of the benefits of automation. You can control everything the homeowner can control everything in the pool through the phone. It is able to control up to 3 Hayward variable speed pumps without using a relay. And then you can also control 3 smart relays. This is what we call a smart relay. So for all of your high voltage equipment, let it be lights, blower, a single speed pump, all of that you're going to be able to control it with your smart relays. You can control heaters or heat pumps with it. You can control 2 automatic valves, the GVAs, and all of this thanks to that the touchscreen control panel actually has Wi-Fi built in. So you're not required to buy a separate antenna. The control panel has Wi-Fi, and if in the equipment room the customer has an internet cable, you can actually plug in your cable directly into the unit without needing to use Wi-Fi. This touchscreen display also has a USB port, which is down here. That USB port allows you to do upgrades. If in the future we add more features into it, which has already been done, you can actually just go to our website, download, and come in here, plug in your USB, and do upgrades. That way the unit is never outdated. This screen that we see here is actually a touch screen, very similar to your phone. And all of the icons makes navigation for the homeowner a lot easier. So now they can go here into this display in order to control their pool, or they can do it directly through their phone. Then we also have the unit that we call OmniLogic. This has all of the benefits from the OmniHub, but it's actually a bigger unit. You are able to control up to 16 Hayward variable speed pumps. Remember, with the previous one, it was only 3 variable speeds. With this one, you can do up to 16. You can also do 10 high voltage relays. Remember, with the previous one, it was 3. With this one, you can do 10. You can do up to 8 heaters, 8 automatic valves. You can control, obviously, if you're using Hayward lights, you can select all of the colors that you want. And you can also hook up a salt cell directly into this unit in order to generate your chlorine as well. We have a few different controllers on this. Obviously, you can use your phone. You can download the app, which is free. The homeowner can download the app directly and create an account. Or we also have a wall-mounted display. and we also have a wireless handheld display. And here we can see some of those options as well. This one does require a separate Wi-Fi antenna in case that you don't have hardwired internet. And then you can also add a chemistry controller for pH and RP. That makes it a lot easier in order to control the chemistry in your pool. Next, we're going to look into our lighting. Our LED lighting, we call it color logic. Every time you see color logic, it means it is color LED. We have options available on the pool size, which is the big one. We have the spa size, which we can see in here. We have the color logic 320, which goes into 1.5-inch pipe or 2-inch pipe. And we also have the color logic 80, which goes into 1/2-inch pipe. The benefit with our LED lights is that they are totally plastic. What that means is that there's no corrosion, and at the same time, it doesn't require any grounding or bonding. So compared to the competitors that have metal on their pool, on their pool lights, then it does require grounding in order for it to be safe and to not cause any kind of damage. With our lights, there's no grounding and no bonding required. The other benefit that we have is that all of our color logic lights, it has 10 fixed colors and 7 color shows. Competitor has 5 fixed colors. So with ours, the homeowner is able to select exactly the tone that they want. On this color chart down here, we can see all of the options that come standard, all of the color options that come standard. So we have 3 different shades of blue, we have a couple shades of green, we obviously have a white, we have 2 different shades of red, and then a couple of shades of purple. The competitor, many times on all of those options, they only have one shade available. They don't have that many options as we do. And then the second bar that we have here with the colors is actually extra colors that you can get if you use our Omni automation. We call it Omni Direct. You can see here on this. And with that Omni Direct, instead of getting 10 colors, you can actually get 20 colors, and you can adjust the brightness and how quickly the shows go by. Next, we're going to look into our Crystal Logic. Crystal Logic is our white-only LED. That is mainly used on commercial applications, but we do have pool size, spa size, and then we also have the 1.5-inch or 2-inch installation as the Color Logic 320. The good thing with this as well is, remember, they are all plastic, so it doesn't require any grounding or bonding in order to have a safe installation. And with the pool size light, we can actually have it as an equivalent brightness as 500 watts, which obviously makes it very bright for commercial installations. And we can also adjust intensity on this pool size anywhere between 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100% intensity. Now we're going to go into our Color Logic 320. Color Logic 320 is our 1.5-inch light. Makes it a lot easier to install. If the customer has just an 1.5-inch piping on their pool, or if it is a new installation, a lot of builders are preferring to do the Color Logic 320 instead of using the standard niche and doing a large light. For this light to be installed in 1.5-inch pipe, it doesn't require any niche or any adapter. It can just slide directly into 1.5-inch pipe, and I will show you how in a little bit. And just remember that all of our color lights, Color Logic, all of them are going to synchronize. So you can have a large pool size light in your pool, for example. You can have a Color Logic 320 in your spa, and all of them can be synchronized to the same color. This light is also able to be installed in 2-inch plumbing. First, we're going to see here installing it into 1.5 inch. So if we have an 1.5 inch pipe, which is this is 1.5 inch pipe, all we do is we thread in this faceplate, and then this gasket is going to expand. And as that gasket expands, it is going to seal directly inside the 1.5 inch pipe. It doesn't require you to have any kind of adapter on it. It is going to seal directly inside the 1.5 inch pipe. It can be flooded on the back end of the light. It doesn't cause any issues. The light is totally sealed. And then all you see is basically this faceplate that we see here on the right hand side. You do not see your pipe because obviously all of that pipe is going to be embedded into the shell of the pool. The lights comes with multiple faceplates, so you can have it in white and you can have it in light gray or dark gray. And then if the customer for whatever reason already has 2-inch plumbing on their pool and you want to be able to offer this light, you can do it. For that 2-inch installation, you are going to need a special adapter that is 1.5 inch slip on the inside and 2-inch slip on the outside. And then what we do is you glue in your 1.5 inch pipe into the special wall fitting, and then that 1.5 inch pipe is actually going to go inside the 2-inch pipe, as we see here. And then that 2-inch pipe, you're going to glue it over the special wall fitting. Now you're able to install your lights inside without having to worry on how to secure it to 2-inch plumbing. And then you're going to get this finish that you see here on the right hand side with the light installed inside the special wall fitting. Remember, any questions that you have during the presentation, please write it down, and at the end we can go back and review any of these questions that you might have. Next, we're going to look into our ColorLogic 80. ColorLogic 80 is a 1/2 inch light. It is not 1.5 inch as previous as the light that we previously saw. This one is 1/2 inch, so it is very tiny. It is ideal for water features, for fountains. You can even use it outside for the garden, the bushes around the pool, let's say, and for waterfalls, as you see here on this picture on the backside. It also does not require any type of special adapter. All it does is go inside the 1/2 inch pipe. It is pushed in as a pressure fitting, and that's it. And then here we can see some of the ways in order to install that light into a garden. It comes with a shroud in order for you to focus on all of your lighting into the bushes or the palm trees or whatever you want to highlight. You can use it for bubblers or water features as well, or for a waterfall. If a customer has a waterfall and you want to be able to illuminate it from the backside, this is actually a great light for that because it is so small that you're not going to see it on the wall. And then it also provides you versatility. You can use it on beach entries, stairs, for spas, under the coping, for sheer descents, like we discussed already. So it is a very easy to use light for multiple installations. The only thing to keep in mind with this light is that it does need a drive. Since the light is so small, all of the components, the board and so on, is not embedded into the light. It does require this driver, and this driver is actually able to feed up to 5 ColorLogic 80 lights. So if you have an installation with multiple over 5 lights, you can actually tie a couple of drivers together in order for all of them to be synchronized with the same color. Remember, since this is part of the ColorLogic line, all of them are going to synchronize. So you can have the ColorLogic 80, the 320, or the one for the pool and spa, and all of them are going to be with the same color. You don't have to worry about synchronization with all of them. Now going into our controller for ColorLogic lights. Remember that we said that we have 10 fixed colors and 7 color shows. If your customer doesn't want to do automation and they don't have an automation system, then this controller is the best way for them to select the color that they want. Here on the controller, you can see the different lights or the different colors. So once you select the color, you press your knob, the lights are going to go directly without the customer having to remember, how many times to turn it on and off in order to get into the desired color. This controller also has a button that is synchronization. So if you have multiple lights in a pool, you have a power issue to where one of the lights goes out of sync, all you have to do is press this this button for 3 seconds, and it is going to send the sync command to all of your lights. No need to worry about going in one by one in order to synchronize them. You just press this button 3 seconds, all of them go back to the same color. And this controller also has a built-in timer function and egg timer. So this button that we see here provides that egg timer. You can set it to where your lights are going to turn off automatically in a couple of hours if you want, and you can have the lights turn on and off every day at the same time, all through this controller, without having to invest on a timer. So it is very useful. It can be installed outdoors as long as it has a protective case on it as well. And now we also have the bubblers. Our bubbler options provide this volcano effect, as we see here on the pictures. It obviously has to be installed when you are remodeling or when you are building a pool. But this uses our same ColorLogic 320 light that we saw earlier. Remember, that's the one that goes into 1.5" plumbing. It has a flat cover. Normally, these bubblers are going to install a maximum about 1 foot of water. So it has a flat cover. People can step on it without creating any issues or discomfort. And it is going to provide this volcano effect with a plume of water. And it comes with two different eyeballs on it. You have a 1/2 inch and a 3/4 as well. Obviously, if you use the 1/2 inch, you're going to create greater pressure in order to create a bigger volcano effect, let's say. Very easy to install, similar to a main drain, but it's another way where you can accentuate the pools for your customers. And then we also have the laminars. Our laminars, again, use the ColorLogic or CrystalLogic 320, the 1.5" lights that we already saw as a light source. It is easy to install our laminars because as your ground settles, you can actually adjust the cover plate, bring it up and down in order for it to be flat with your pool deck. So it makes it a lot easier for when it comes to the installation. And at the same time, it gives it a nice touch to your customer's pool. Remember, all of our laminars as well, they come with a internal flow control valve, so you don't have to be worrying about an external source in order to control the flow. And you can also control the angle of the water jets. Next, we're going to look into the standard deck jets. We have the deck jet 500. This one doesn't use lighting. This is just the water stream in order to provide a nice touch for your projects. But remember, this one doesn't use lighting. The laminar uses lighting. This one is just the water jet. It also has a built-in flow adjust mechanism. So you don't have to worry about a external valve. And then lastly, when it comes to water features, we have our Shear 500 waterfall. The main difference between our waterfall and the competition is that it actually has a transparent lid. Here on the picture, I know it looks white, but this is actually a transparent acrylic, all of this. And what it does is that it actually helps blend in into the surroundings. For example, we see it on this waterfall on the picture on the back end. We see our waterfall installed, but you're not able to see the lip as the regular white lip, the white piece of plastic that you would normally see with a regular waterfall. With our waterfalls, it is going to blend into whatever you have on the surroundings without having to do anything special in order to hide it. Again, makes a lot cleaner installation. And here we see how we can use some of the lighting options that I show you on different sections of the pool. So for example, here we can have a ColorLogic 80 as a landscape lighting. We can have the ColorLogic 320 for the steps. We can have the ColorLogic pool size in order to eliminate this irregular size pool. And then we can have a ColorLogic 320 on the spa. So you can mix all of them, mix and match as you want for the project, and know that all of them are going to be in sync. And here is another view of a similar irregular shape pool with different color options for the different water features. Next, we're going to look into efficiency in flow. Many times when we think efficiency, we just think, okay, a variable speed motor or something like that, but we can also improve efficiency by doing a more efficient installation at the equipment room. We have these long sweep 90s. So these long transitional 90s actually help you create a more efficient plumbing installation. And we can see some examples here. We can have the same pump working both with our pool and spa. We can use our automation in order to control both of those bodies of water. We go into the filter, we go into the heater, and then after that, we can also return both into our pool and spa. So here are some examples of that configuration with shared equipment and how these EcoFlow fittings makes it more efficient than the standard 90s. Lastly, we want to get into our blowers. We have a spa blower for residential installations. We have three sizes available: 1 horse, horse and a half, and 2 horsepower. We have 115 or 230 volts. Both of them are dual cycle. The good thing and the difference with our blowers is that they actually use a rubber base, and the rubber base creates less noise, and at the same time, it creates less vibration. So you don't have to worry about the typical noisy blowers on your installations. All of our blowers comes with a spring check valve in order to prevent water backing up into the motor and creating and damaging it. So we think that this is actually a very efficient blower for residential use, and you should definitely consider that with all of your projects. That's the last of the feature products that we wanted to show you at this time. Here is our contact information, and if you have any questions, please just make sure to write it down, and I can answer them for you now. My name is Roberto Solon. Again, I am the sales manager for Latin America and the Caribbean. We have Manny Ixlawak, which is our technical manager. You can see his email there. So any technical questions, he's more than happy to help you. And then also, if you are English speaking in South America, then we have Rafael Acosta for South America sales manager. If we don't have any questions, last thing that I want to remind you again is the webinar series. So make sure that you are in touch with your emails. Keep an eye on your emails for our invitations, because each of these seminars, it is going to be a separate invitation, and you need to register in order to get the reminders and participate like you did today. So again, next week, we are going to be doing a webinar on Tuesday, another one on Wednesday, another one on Thursday. The one on Tuesday is going to be variable speed pumps. We're going to go in depth into variable speed, programming and installation. Then on Wednesday, we are going to do filtration. and the different types of filtration media, sand, cartridge, or DE. And then on next Thursday, we're going to be looking at gas heating, installation, and diagnostics. And then the week after that, we are going to go into heating for heat pumps, lighting and water features, and sanitization. And then the week after, we are going to be doing more into automation and automatic pool cleaners. If you don't have any questions, then that's it for today. Thanks a lot for your participation and your time. And just make sure that whatever questions you have, please let us know by email. Thanks a lot again, and we hope to see you next Tuesday. Thank you.